Hello and welcome to the channel. I hope you're all okay and getting some fishing in if you can. Today I'm going to tie a traditional tying of a nymph, which is very popular on the stillwater circuit, but I've also had some success with it in the river as well. It's the cruncher. And the vise, I have a size 12 light nymph hook, and I'll be tying with 8/0 black thread. So I'm going to start this just behind the eye. Now, for the benefit of stillwater anglers, there is no weight in this version because the depth of fishing the fly is down to the line that you're using. Now, for the tail, I'm going to use a standard brown or red game cop fibres from the hackle. I'll just pull those off at 90 degrees and tear them off. And tie them in. The length of the tail, not longer than the length of the fly. So I'll just tie that down. Like so, and trim off the excess. Now the rib will be silver wire. I'm using a fine silver wire. And I'm just going to tie that in. And bind it down. And back down to the rear of the fly. Like so. And the body of the fly is standard pheasant tail, just a natural pheasant tail. And I'll cut off some fibres. In this instance, I'm using 5 or 6. And I'm going to tie those in by the points. Bind them down and just trim off those excess points. Bind them down up to the thorax area and wind on the pheasant tail. Up to the thorax area, where I'm going to tie those off. And trim up the excess. Just tidy up there. And put on the wire rib in the opposite direction. I'm using silver wire. If you want to use copper or gold, whatever it takes your fancy, but I think silver was the original. And that should break off, there we go. Now the thorax is peacock herl, and I'm going to take off just one herl and find that weak spot, and there it is. And tie that in. and trim up the excess and wind on the thorax. Depending on how you like your thorax, whether you want it big or small will depend upon the amount of winds, but for me that is sufficient. And trim up the excess. Just pull back those fibres and tidy up. Right, now traditionally the cruncher has a hackle, a soft hackle, and in this instance it's a furnace hackle. This is a whiting furnace cape, and you can see from the markings that it has this lovely black centre going out to the brown fibres on the outside. So I've taken off a hackle, trimmed off the bottom, and I'm going to tie that in. And just trim off that little bit of stalk. And wind on the hackle. Again, the amount of turns is entirely up to you, however you like your hackles. Just pull them back as you turn them over. That will be sufficient. And tie off the hackle. And trim up the excess. And build up the head. And I'm going to use a half hitch tool to tie off. And trim up the tying thread. I'm going to put just a little bit of UV varnish onto the head to create a nice pronounced head. Like so. And give that a zap. So just a little bit of fibre there, which I'll get rid of. And there you have the finished fly, the cruncher nymph. As I said, on the still water circuit, this is an exceptionally good nymph and very, very popular. Now, if you wanted to tie it for the river, which I also do, this is a size 14, and it is weighted with a little lead wire underneath. Exactly the same tying, but with a lead wire underneath. I hope you enjoyed the tying. Do give it a go, because it is a super nymph for both still water in particular and for the river. It's a simple tying, just have the right materials as usual. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Do pass a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for viewing. Bye.